I wanted to start this channel by talking about what I see as a misunderstood part of recovery. At some point on this channel, I will post some of my war stories to share my credentials. Let's just say I've had a long personal struggle with the process of recovery, and at this point in time, I'm happy to be alive, which was not always the case. Recently, I was talking with someone who shared that they had relapsed, and they were reflecting a lot of views that I battled with when I was dealing with my first relapses. There were multiple. I found that in places like NA or AA, that the focus on the days that you have had sober, while that can be a very strong motivational way of looking at things and can be very helpful in many ways, it also can encourage this all or nothing thinking that can be very, very damaging, not only to addicts, but people everywhere. Trying to look at things as 100% recovery or 100% failure is something that can hold you back. It can be very, very tempting to just be like, I'm going to go on a bender for a month and really deserve having to start my days over, because not only are you dealing with the guilt of relapse, but you're also dealing with the anger at yourself and the feeling of failure, of losing all of these days that you have worked so hard to stack up next to each other. And I think that you hear the phrase relapse is a part of recovery because it's true, but I don't think we emphasize it in as healthy a way as we could in the recovery community. I do think that most people could at least benefit by recognizing that you don't lose any recovery that you have made up to the point where you relapse. That mental growth and that movement away from the thing that is ruining your life is still there. You are temporarily dealing with something that is incredibly painful and frightening, of course. But you also are showing yourself that recovery is something that you're doing for yourself. If you don't have that intrinsic motivation, that inner knowing that your life will be completely destroyed if you stay in these patterns of addiction and self-destruction, then you are going to have a really hard time white-knuckling it through sobriety. And if you give yourself props for pulling yourself out of your relapse quicker, the amount of time that you are relapsing does matter. Even though in recovery communities, I don't think we emphasize how great it is when you can pull yourself out of relapse more quickly. If your relapse is a moment rather than a month, you are further along in your recovery. And the thing that matters is your mental journey to being in a place where you can love yourself and love your life and forgive yourself for your past and actually make a positive difference in the world. So if even one person sees this who is going through the guilt of relapse and who is feeling like, oh, well, look at me, I'm worthless, I can't do this, and is beating themselves up for going through something that most of us in recovery go through, I hope that I can send a message of love and solace and hope. There's hope, I promise.